Chapter 8 of book Immortal's Quest of Soma. This chapter is titled as Zarathustra Enters the Fire. The fire was barely alive when the stranger appeared. He looked like an ancient rishi, but his eyes were not Indian. His face could held the desert, the plateau, and the discipline of flame. Ashvatthama bowed. Who are you? The stranger was angry. I can't believe Shiva sent me to an ill informed man. Ashwatthama swallowed his pride. A few centuries earlier, he might have reached for a weapon. Now he remembered his vow. Then inform me, he said. I am Zarathustra. The name entered the ghat like a well. Founder, reformer, prophet, the world argued over him. Some credited him with shaping monotheism, some placed him far earlier, some nearer to Buddha. Some saw him as a voice behind the Avesta, other as a memory later clothed in scripture. Zarathustra looked at the yagna fire with irritation. You Indians speak as if the fire worship was born in your courtyard. Look west, look to Iran, look to the Avesta, look to Haoma. Ashvatthama did not interrupt. The Veda and Avesta are close, Zarathustra said. Their languages are cousin, their gods and demons cross each other in strange ways. Soma and Haoma stand facing each other like twins separated in childhood. The fire went high, but beware the story that Persian could not pronounce S. Zarathustra continued, that story is too convenient. Avesta has S. Parsi has S. Zarathustra has S. Persian language did not forget the sound. Sound laws are subtler than nationalist fairy tales. Ashwathama's mind sharpened. He had heard the common story. Sindhu became Hindu because Iranians changed S to H. Soma became Haoma. Therefore, the Indian form must be older. But if Iranian could speak S in many words, the issue was not inability. It was historical sound change in particular context or in alternate nationalist storytelling, a myth turned into a weapon. What was the motive of oversimplifying it? To make India the source and Iran the derivative. To win the antiquity race. Zarathustra's voice softened. Search the stone. Do not trust priest. Search the inscriptions of king. Search Darius. Search Xerxes. Search where Haoma appears and where it does not. Then he vanished. Ashvatthama sat very still. The next stage of the quest would not begin in a forest or temple. It would begin in inscriptions. After Zarathustra vanished, Ashvatthama spent weeks with sound. He spoke the words aloud. Soma, Haoma, Sindhu, Hindu, Sapta, Hapta, Asura, Ahura. The month became a laboratory. The tongue moved like a migrant tribe. He saw how easily linguistic knowledge becomes myth in popular telling. A sound shift becomes a disability. A pattern becomes a joke. They could not say yes, people say, and the complex historical process is reduced to mockery or nationalist convenience. But if Persian could say yes in some words, the matter could not be inability. It had to be history. Sounds change in patterned way. They change in some position and not others. They change across dialects, periods, and contact zones. No people wake up one morning unable to pronounce a sound while retaining it in their own sacred words. The simplified story had served a purpose. It placed the Indian form before the Iranian form, Soma before Haoma, Sindhu before Hindu. It made Iran a mispronouncing younger sibling. Ashvatthama disliked the smell of it. Yet he refused to swing to the opposite pride. Iran too had its temptations. Every ancient culture wants to become the parent of other. Achaemenid grandeur, Zoroastrian antiquity, and imperial memory could also become weapons. Zarathustra himself remained elusive. Was he a single historical teacher, a priestly memory, a reform movement personified, a name around which later communities gathered? Ashvatthama did not know, but the figure mattered because he represented a turning. Fire, truth, moral choice, Ahura Mazda, and the attempt to place cosmic order above tribal god. Monotheism troubled Ashwatthama. It could deepen ethics by placing all under one moral order. It could also produce intolerance by making one truth jealous of plurality. Polytheism could allow diversity but also preserve hierarchy and superstition. No system was innocent. He wrote, the danger is not one god or many god. The danger is human hunger to make God serve power. Fire worship linked Veda and Avesta in the imagination. But fire too had many meanings. It cooks food, burns forest, purifies metals, destroys homes, carries offerings, and lights the dead. A culture fire reveals what it once transformed. Ashwatthama wondered whether Soma and Haoma were similar fires in liquid form. They entered the body and changed the inner atmosphere. The question was toward what transformation? Towards what transformation? If towards truth, they were sacred. If towards superiority, they were imperial. Thank you. End of chapter 8.